What's going on, world? I'm Wesley from A Connection TV, the network, the one channel on YouTube where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And I'm here to talk about Season 7, Episode 2, The Walking Dead, the best show on freaking Earth. And yeah, before I get started in this particular review, I need y'all to do me a solid. Go to my Instagram and Twitter at A Connection TV and follow your boy. And definitely share this video on Facebook and Twitter. Please and thank you. So let's start with this particular review. So I don't know if all of you guys have recovered from last week's episode with the death of Stephen Yen and Abraham and the brutal deaths, mind you, but I've recovered because I already knew it was going to happen. There's been so many YouTube videos, so many reviews done or articles done about what's going to happen, who's going to die, so forth and so on. And you know, the Walking Dead fans on Facebook already proclaimed that this was going to happen. They foresaw into the future by having their people go out and, you know, take snapshots of what they were doing in Atlanta, and, you know, realize that they were no longer going to be on the credits. Stephen Yen and Abraham, they weren't going to be on the credits anymore, and so forth and so on. You know, there's been so many guesses and ideas and thoughts of what was going to happen and who was going to die. So I already was kind of like prepped and ready for it. So my reaction wasn't as in tuned as it normally would have been if I was completely surprised. So I think I'm going to stop watching or reading, I should say, the reviews leading up or reading bits and pieces of the comic to know what's going to happen. I kind of already have like a basic premise of what's going to happen or idea of what's going to happen. But this particular show is definitely doing some different things in compared to the comic, and I'm appreciative of that because it allows me to feel like I'm a part of something different versus something that's already has occurred. So I'm really loving this particular season thus far, and I'm glad that episode 2 sends us into a fantastic world of like humor and make-believe and hope and light. Is so refreshing. And Kari Payton, who plays freaking King Ezekiel, is like one of the best characters to have graced my eyes on The Walking Dead. I am so excited about what King Ezekiel is gonna bring and what Kari Payton is gonna do for this fantastic character. So we start this particular episode off with Carol being transported by 2 members of the kingdom, and things are calm, things are cool, or whatever the case may be. And you know, Carol's like waking up and she's trying to figure out or realize what's happening. You know, she's been wounded and she's going in and out of consciousness, and then all of a sudden they're bombarded by zombies. One of the horses are down. Morgan and the other guy are trying to fend off the zombies, and Carol wakes up. She's seeing this, but what was very interesting about what she was seeing was she was seeing the killing of people, you know, towards the tail end when she's trying to escape. You know, she's having flashes of the zombies being dead and then seeing their faces, and then the zombies being dead and then seeing their human faces or what they possibly look like when they're alive. And she gets up and tries to run, and she's surrounded by zombies, and she sees one zombie in this white house, this lone house or whatever. So after trying to escape and then being surrounded by the zombies and still fatigued and weak, she's rescued by like quite a few more, like 5 or 6 more guys and girls on horses. And once again, this was like a great way to let me know as a viewer that the kingdom is definitely diverse, and the people that live there, especially as far as who gets to go out and who gets to defend the kingdom, because the men and women can all defend the kingdom. I thought that was amazing. That one chop of the dude's face, it cleared off and the face hung off like that. I thought that was cool. But Carol is lost in a sense. She's like, what am I? Where? Like, what's going on? What the hell is up? You know? And Morgan's looking at her like, you really trying to escape? Like, seriously, you're wounded, and like, cut that out. Stop it, Carol. So we get to the next scene, and Carol is being wheeled in the wheelchair. After asking, what's going on, or thinking what's going on, she comes out and says, "What is this place? Where are we?" And Morgan's trying to explain it to her, and Carol, oh my God, I love Carol. She's such a realist, and she's so hardcore. She's just like, where are we? Like, is this a dream? What is this place? There. And as she's walking through, she's seeing teachers teaching children under a gazebo, a gazebo, and they're outside, and people are walking around, and it's a live community. Much more so than Alexandria was, and we already know what she was putting on in Alexandria. When she saw it in Alexandria, she's just like, okay, this is another Alexandria, whatever. So Morgan's trying to prep her and prepare her for meeting Ezekiel, King Ezekiel, and Morgan doesn't even want to say king. Because he's already been dealing with this sound for 2 days, and he's gotten to be comfortable with what's happening in this transition. He already knows what Carol is going to say. But when I tell y'all, the freaking moment of all moments was when Carol was wheeled into the auditorium of the high school, and King Ezekiel is sitting there on a throne with Jerry as his squire. I was like, okay, what's really going on? Like, this was so freaking cool. And then we see Shiva, and Shiva roars in all of her fucking glory. It was so great to watch and to see, and to even to see a black man in power. It was so cool. And he's king, and he has the dreads, and he has Shiva. Like, I was completely here for all of it, but Carol wasn't, because she was just like, what the fuck is this? She's just like, I feel like I'm in a dream in the most wonderful way. Like, she's like, and it seemed like that was the scene that we saw when we thought that she was like high off wheat cupcakes or something, but she's flabbergasted by this facade that this character, this role that Khary Payton is playing, aka King Ezekiel. But she can't deny the tiger. She can't, but King Ezekiel is trying to, like, wherefore art thou her? She's like, he calls Carol a fair maiden. And Carol's face is just light, and she's smiling, and she can't believe this, and she's like, what the hell? And he's like, what in the world? And he's talking to her, and he's courting her, and he's being so respectful, and he's letting her, when he was trying to calm down Shiva, and Shiva was trying to test Carol, like, okay, who's this chick? Like, what? And Carol and she was just relaxed and very, like, poised, and eyes just staring her down. This whole scene was one of the best I've seen in a long time. Very different and very open for the Walking World universe. And so when King Ezekiel offers her fruit, and Jerry grabs the bowl of fruit and walks it over, he's like, try a pomegranate. These were grown here, and they're very good, and blah blah. And Carol's like, what the hell is this? Like, really? And she's just like this, just smiling. I thought this was funny when she started calling him Your Majesty. She was like, you already knew Carol was not here for any of it at all. She was like, all I want is a brush and some chocolate, and I'm good. I'll be out of your hair. I'm not staying here for too long. Morgan walks her out, and she completely gets into Carol mode. What the hell is this? What are we doing? Are you freaking serious? This dude called himself a king. And Morgan's trying to rationalize with her and get her to understand that, this is a cool place. Where we are is really chill and low key. And he understands that it's extreme, but this is what they have to do here. And he's trying to talk to her, but Carol's not here for it. And she tells him flat out, look, don't save me. Stop trying to save me. I'm done. We still aren't cool. I remember you knocking me out in the prison. I remember our conversation and what we had going on in the library. And this is not going to be that. I'm leaving. Once I get well, I'm going to be out of your hair, and don't follow me. And I'm like, okay. Okay, Carol, go ahead. I mean, you letting it be known, you know. But it was too fucking funny. Morgan going out with King Ezekiel and his married band of men was pretty cool. You know, them walking around in their, you know, Sports Authority gear, their hockey gear, like they're knights of the round table, and you know, they have their spears and their horses. And I thought that it was really cool that King Ezekiel was actually out there with them, that he didn't just send them out there. He knows what the world looks like. He's out there with them. He's for his people. He's trying to get his people to understand, like, this is the type of world that we're in. But I was kind of sick to my stomach with the boars eating the dead. And I'm like, why are they hurting these boars and putting them on this truck? I know they're not about to bring this back to the people. This is what they're feeding them. I'm like, no, y'all are destroying my kingdom already. Like, I don't want this to be that. The hell? That's disgusting. Why would they do that? But you know, when the truck veers off to the right and they go in a different direction, I was elated. I automatically knew that they were sending them off for the trade on, you know, freaking Negan. So I was loving that part. I really was, because right away we knew that King Ezekiel was for his people. And when he was trying to get Benjamin to defend himself, once again we knew that King Ezekiel was for his people. And I thought it was cool how Morgan offered his assistance and saved Benjamin in that time of need. And I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. I see the lead in. We're trying to say mentor and mentee. We're trying to be reason with Morgan and level-headed with Morgan, so that Morgan can see a different way to his choices in life. And I'm really appreciative of the way this transitions in. You know, when they get back and, you know, Morgan starts asking questions, because in the beginning, Carol was like, what did you tell them about us? What did they know about us? And Morgan was like, you know, relax, I didn't tell them anything. Ezekiel sees through all of this shit that's being displayed by Morgan and Carol, the secrecy and it all. And, you know, King Ezekiel starts asking Morgan questions like, how did you learn how to use that staff? Can you teach Benjamin? And Morgan's like, I don't want to teach anybody. I'm good. You know, what I learned is what I learned, and I don't want to inflict my teachings or whatever to anybody else. I'm not that good. I was just working and doing cheese. Like, I know what I'm doing off of cheese. And I'm like, okay, like whatever. But suffice it to say, King Ezekiel still wants Morgan to teach Benjamin. And when he says to him, I want Benjamin to learn so that he can survive, so that he can still be alive, it spoke volume to me with the type of character that we're dealing with King Ezekiel. King Ezekiel is just like a Rick. Prominent, positive, a high level of moral, good moral intentions. Like, this dude seems rich in character and rich in personality and just rich, period. And I'm appreciative of this. I'm like, so many times when we've met leaders of different communities, they've been assholes and dictators and lost their way of living or possibly living. And a guy like this, so forthright in his own thing that he just created for himself, I think it's really cool. Like, I'm here for it. I'm completely here for it. And then when Morgan decides to train Benjamin, and then right in the next cutscene we see them training, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. Benjamin is definitely going to take a liking to Morgan, and Morgan's going to take a liking to Benjamin, and their unit is going to be a great bond together. I'm all the way here for it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Carol is looking at this. She's seeing this. She's watching it. You know, and Ezekiel was filled with so many great one-liners, and so, like, his philosophy in itself is straight out of a book. And the fact that he's able to quote all of these philosophies, you know, drink from the well and replenish the well, stuff like that. I'm so here for it. I'm here for all of it. And Carol seems to not be believing in it. Carol seems to be a skeptic and a pessimist, and you know, she has every right to be. Everything that Carol has been, from having to kill those two little girls, the one girl that became crazy, you know, killing kids, seeing her daughter become a zombie, everything from with the group with Rick, and you know, burning the people at the prison and being outcasted, then coming back to save everybody, watching people die brutally when the saviors came and just killed everybody or killed a lot of people, having to wear this mask and act a certain way and be a certain way. And Chris Hardwick's brain tie is not cute or remotely funny at all. But anyways, poor taste, Chris. Like, what are you doing? I'm here for what they're doing with Carol, because you know, I was kind of afraid that they were gonna make Carol some punk and she was not gonna be able to get back into the swing of things. But it seems like she's bouncing back. She's getting her energy to bounce back, and you know, she starts putting on the Susie Homemaker act, and she's wheeling herself in the wheelchair, and she steals back her knife with the chocolate, and she's wheeling herself to where they're folding out, drying the clothes, and she starts crying because they have breakfast souffle and lunch souffle and all this stuff and food, and she starts acting like she's crying. She steals the clothes. She's like, she's prepping to leave. She already told Morgan when she gets back on her feet, she's gonna leave. Like, it is what it is. And so in preparation for her leaving, I'm like, okay, Carol is making me die. Like, I was dying laughing watching Carol. Like, you guys had to be freaking laughing watching Carol. It was hilarious. Melissa McBride is so in tune with this character. Like, every actor is phenomenal on this show. The fact that the Kingdom has a glee club or a choir, I thought was awesome. We haven't heard people singing in a minute. At least singing in tune in a group. That was fantastic. And watching, you know, Benjamin confide in, you know, Morgan about what actually happened with his father and how his father passed away. Now, Benjamin wasn't really specific about how he passed. He just said that he was a part of a group of people that went to handle something and they didn't come back. And King Ezekiel, ever since then, didn't want to deal with the people, the saviors, in the way that he was dealing with them originally, because he didn't want them to die. And I don't know if that was in reference to the job that they had to do out there or whatever, but the fact that Benjamin knows enough to really make a sound decision as to why he's living here and how he chooses to live his life, I think that's a great testament to King Ezekiel and how he's leading the people or rallying the people. He wants them to believe in something that's positive and not to realize that these deals that they're doing with the saviors are actually the reason why they're able to live like this. He wants them to see a life of hope and balance, and I thought that was really cool. The scene with them making the barter trade, or the trade with the hogs split open after they just got finished eating those zombie guts and zombie remains, I thought that was fantastic. Fuck Negan and everything that he has going on. And you know how Dean Morgan tries to make it seem like Negan is a good guy in his own right because he's been through what he's been through. I don't give a fuck about what Negan's been through. I can care less about what Negan's been through. The fact that he sees Rick as a villain is bullshit. You have your dictatorship over these people. You're controlling these people, forcing them to do things the way that you see fit that they should be done. That's bullshit to me. I don't care. I really don't care. And to say that Negan is worse than the governor would be an understatement. Like, I think he's like the devil reincarnated, period. And so to see Ezekiel play the role that he's playing and to deal with the people the way that he's dealing with them, I thought it was amazing. That trade routine where the guy was telling the Negan dude, like, I think, no, you have it twisted, my dude. Like, we can kick you all out right here if we really wanted to. But they can't, because Negan has an army. That's the only reason why they can't go after him, because he has an army. And why do people feel it necessary to follow a man, one man, the way that they're following him, killing these people, bashing skulls in, to live the way that they live, to bow to him when he walks in a room? What the freak? Are you serious? Like, I'm really not understanding why people would choose to live that life, but that's what they know. And when he's punching out one of King Ezekiel's dudes, and you know, Ezekiel's like, just sit there, just take it, and he gets to fight him and punch him without any repercussions. I'm like, okay, yeah, these people really follow Ezekiel, because there's no way that I would just let a dude just punch me. But what can they do? It's either that or deal with the wrath of Negan and his army. I thought that was a powerful scene. The fact that Morgan, one of the girls, was telling him these people are, and then Morgan's like, I already know who they are. Morgan sees these people already. He understands. He's starting to connect the dots and get why things are happening the way that they're happening, and the fact that he's feeding these sick, twisted pigs to them. I thought that was phenomenal. I really like how Carol and Ezekiel are being able to see everything. I thought it was a cool scene when Ezekiel caught Carol trying to escape, and he leveled with her. He got rid of the act and said, look, this is what I'm doing. I was a zookeeper. I had to help Shiva. She was about to die, and she's been indebted to me, or felt a need to connect with me the way that she has, because I saved her life, and we in tune save each other, and reverse save each other's lives, period. You know what I'm saying? How would you not welcome someone that's controlling a tiger the way that I am, or walking with a tiger on equal playing field the way that I am, and not look at him as royalty, as a king, or whatever the case may be? So I put on this charade for them to feel good and for them to feel empowered, and I feel that all of that makes sense, because he doesn't treat the people like they're trash. You know what I'm saying? He gives them options, and he gave her free reign to leave. I thought that was phenomenal. And this connection, this little romantic flirtation that Ezekiel and Carol have gone on, the fact that he is able to level with her and say, look, I know you've been through some tough shit. I know your life has been fucked royally multiple times, but there's always a way for you to come back to a position in life where you feel better, where you feel like you are able to do good, where you feel like you're a part of something that's a bright light. I think you should welcome that into your life. Don't welcome the negative energy or the negative spirit or the negative world that's out there. That's just life, period. It just resonated. Like, his words to Carol just resonated with me in more ways than one, because it was so good to see and to hear that, and to have Carol feel like she could come down just a couple notches. But when she haphazardly says, I don't care about any of that, I'm still leaving, like, it is what it is, I'm leaving. And you know, she decides to leave, but not to go too far. She goes back to the house where she saw the one isolated zombie in there, and she makes home there. She's at peace, she's by herself. If she wants to deal with the people, she knows where the kingdom is. But I also think that house serves as a watch point for, you know, the kingdom and the trouble to come. I really like the fact that Carol is not docile at all. She's rejuvenated, she's back up physically, and she's ready to go to fucking battle. I think the fact that I just love it. I love this, the way that this shit is setting up. It's going to be phenomenal. This season seems like it's going to be one of the best seasons, because Morgan is coming around full circle, rethinking his philosophy on, you know, his teachings of keto and all of that. He's like, you know, people have the ability to change their minds. It's free will. It's human nature to just change your mind and to fill your life with something that you feel at that particular moment in time it needs to be filled with. You know, and I'm appreciative of that too. The fact that they're giving that character the ability to make those moves and changes. Same with Carol. And I thought it was boss as hell how King Ezekiel showed up to her doorstep with the tiger, and the tiger's just chilling like, what's up, chick? We here. How you? Like, oh my God, that was that was so cool. And he was like, you really need to try one of these apples. I really think you would like it. I'm here for King Ezekiel and Carol getting a romance. I was really, really appreciative of the budding kind of flirtation thing there. Maybe it wasn't even, I don't know. People wanted to put Carol and Daryl together. I really wasn't here for that too much. I'm here for Carol and Daryl being like brother and sister versus romantically involved. They care for each other deeply, and I think that's definitely obvious. You know what I'm saying? But when Carol finds out, when Morgan finds out what happened to Rick and the people, I mean, like, come on. Morgan has a gun in his hand now. He's starting to look at the gun. I'm completely invested and completely here for The Walking Dead, and this particular episode was definitely one of the more pleasing episodes in a very long time. It offered up an opportunity for them to see a future, more so than Alexandria could ever have, because these people are fighters. They have a group of people that are fighters, and they have a group of people that are just there and they're playing their role. And they have someone that knows what the outside world looks like already, and they're prepped and ready. I'm like completely here for it. I want to know what you guys thought of this particular episode, because by far it was one of the best episodes. I would definitely give it a 5 out of 5 this particular episode. We didn't really need to see what was going on with Negan. We didn't really need to see what was going on with Alexandria. We already know. We've been briefed on what they have to do and what they're going to do. This episode set us up for the possibilities to come between Benjamin and Morgan, Kari Payton, who plays Ezekiel, Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, that budding relationship or flirtation buddyship, whatever we call it, the kingdom and how it's set up, and how the groups all have their roles and everyone follows King Ezekiel's lead because of him and Shiva. Shiva's magnificent. I promise you, if they kill Shiva, I am going to be completely over The Walking Dead. Shiva should not die. I don't want them to just be killing off every animal, every great animal like they do in Games of Thrones, how they just kill all the wolves off and there's like only one wolf left. I don't want to deal with that. Shiva best survive. She better survive. Obviously she can't go up against guns or anything like that, but she needs to survive as like to be that beacon of hope for everyone, period. I think when Rick and everybody sees Shiva, I think that needs to be the direction that we go in. And I just know Morgan and Carol are gonna kick ass when they find out what happened to Glenn and Daryl. I just already know it, and I'm here for it. I'm completely invested, and I'm so glad that Carol. I can go on and on about this show, y'all. In this particular episode, I want y'all to do me a favor. Leave your comments below this particular video. Shout out to Deuces, Jerry Deuces, because he's just a cool addition to it. And let me know what you thought about this particular episode. I give it a 5 out of 5 because it was perfect. The acting was perfect, the story was perfect, the ability that the good was still fighting against the bad, even under the covers, was perfect. I'm all here for it. And Shiva was it for me. Shiva was it for me. I'm Wesley from A Connection TV, the network. Thank you guys for tuning in. And once again, share this video on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Connection TV. Like Jerry says, deuces. Explain to the people that weren't able to understand your history with your sister, if you can give us a little brief synopsis of how you came to meet and how that all worked out for the show.
Okay, yeah, I met Asia when I was about 15. I was about to turn 16.
I was trying to hurry. I didn't know nothing. All I did was I came. I didn't want to do nothing. I was so hungover. I couldn't do nothing.
There was everything else.
Right.